In Genesis 13:16, Adonai told Abram, "I will make your seed like the dust of the earth, so that if one could count the dust of the earth, then your seed could also be counted." And in Genesis 15:5, he assures him again, "Look up now at the sky and count the stars, if you are able to count them. So shall your seed be." And yet, at this point, Abram still doesn't have a child. How will God fulfill this promise? We know the story. Sarai gives Hagar to Abram so he can have a child through her. Abram finally has a son, Ishmael, but that wasn't the one God promised. God appears and speaks to Abram and to Sarai. He changes their names to Abraham and Sarah. He tells Abraham he will have a son with Sarah. Abraham laughs, Sarah laughs, and then Isaac, Yitzchak, laughter is born. At this point, Abraham has two sons, one from Hagar and one from Sarah. Let's see, can we count the sons? Oh yes, 1, 2, done. Not quite like the promise of the dust of the ground or the stars of the sky. Definitely countable. So what happens in this parsha? Well, Sarah dies. And then the sixth aliyah of Chayei Sara opens with Abraham taking another wife. In the Hebrew, it literally says, "And Abraham added and took a wife whose name was Keturah." It says he added. Why does it say that? Why doesn't it just say that he took another wife? Why added and took? Keturah, whose name is from Ketoret, means incense. The smoke of offered incense rises toward heaven, creating a visible link between earth and heaven. God has not forgotten his promise. Keturah had 6 sons, and they and their descendants spread to the south and to the east. Many of the descendants of Keturah's sons and Hagar's son Ishmael are represented by the Middle Eastern, Arab, and African nations we know today, which are primarily Muslim. Interestingly, one of the last things President Trump did during his last term was to get 4 of these nations to sign the Abraham Accords with Israel: Bahrain, Morocco, the United Arab Emirates, and Sudan. In any case, God's promise to Abraham that he would be the father of many nations has come to fruition. God keeps his promises to Abraham and his promises to Hagar. But Isaac is the child of promise, the child born not only of Abraham but of Sarah, the child that could not have possibly been born by natural circumstances. And in so many ways, Isaac, Yitzchak, the child of promise, the son of Abraham, is also like Yeshua, the son of promise, the son of God. The last verse of the 6th aliyah, Genesis 25:11, says, "After the death of Abraham, God blessed Isaac, his son." God blesses Isaac, his son. Now, this can be read that he blessed Isaac, Abraham's son, but it can also be read that he blessed Isaac, his son, as in God's son. What? Let's think about it. Isaac has a miraculous birth. Isaac is almost sacrificed, like the middle matzah is broken at Passover. But then God stops Abraham's hand and says, "No, I will provide." Isaac was Abraham's miracle child. He was born from a promise of God. Yeshua was also a miracle child. He was also born from a promise of God from Genesis 3:15. And in Matthew 1, we read the genealogy of Yeshua the Messiah. He came from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He is a descendant of King David. Yeshua's birth was a miracle. Miriam and Joseph were not married yet, but God caused Miriam to be pregnant. It was a miracle. And whereas God stopped Abraham's hand from sacrificing Isaac, Yeshua went through with his willing self-sacrifice. God did provide. Yeshua offered up his own life in place of Isaac's and in place of ours. Yeshua is the middle matzah that is broken at Passover, And God blessed his son. As the descendants of Abraham spread over the earth, numerous as the dust of the ground, so the followers of Yeshua spread like the stars of the sky, and the rising of our prayers, like the rising of incense, connects the two. God keeps his promises. Shabbat Shalom.